People carry with them a developing perception they believe will always make sense with or without their influence. A few individuals fail to acknowledge that their entire perception of reality is based on a combination of what they've been taught, their personal experiences, and the ideas or theories that make sense of those experiences so far. How many times have you found yourself in a scenario where you and another person witnessed the same event occur, yet you came to your own conclusions about why it took place, what the intentions of each party involved was, and the metaphysical principles that allowed it to happen? It became obvious that you both had your own filters through which you were running all new information. These sensors, checkpoints, or parameters through which all new information must pass are displays of your individual boundaries of perception. You each come from your own point of existence. Your realities carry with them momentum, and these momentums make the effort to fuel themselves by allowing in and pursuing only the information that rationalizes and further develops your current perception of existence. Picture two separate snowballs rolling down the same mountain on their own trajectories. As each one rolls, it collects its own debris, and that debris forms the mass of each snowball as they age down the mountain. By this point, each snowball has its own history, its own perception. Every single experience each individual snowball collected along the way has added up into two separate stories. Now, imagine that there exists a point in which those two stories will converge. You could consider this point an event or an arc. Both snowballs arrive to this point at the same time, but to each snowball this point looks different. Their individual stories affect their perception of the event, as their lives and its parameters will be affected differently by this event. Let's say this point of convergence is a piece of branch from a tree. To the first snowball, this branch will have been one of many branches it's come across in its journey, a trivial, disacknowledgeable experience by this point in its existence. However, to the second snowball, this branch is the first time it's seen anything like this in its journey so far. This branch is enough information alone to alter this snowball's perception of what's possible. Though, with or without their significant perceptions, the branch is just a branch. The effect this branch has on their individual paradigms is what will alter their ability to perceive the next arc or point of convergence on their path. Have you ever noticed how some people walk around describing why they are who they are and telling stories that justify why they are where they are at any given moment? Furthermore, pay attention to how those same exact individuals often describe other people's behaviors, specifically those who obstruct their desired outcomes, in contexts that make their behaviors seem crude, strange, or unacceptable. It can be said that through this social system, all religions, beliefs, movements, etc. exist to justify a set of behaviors within or against a specific context. Some individuals caught in a competitive mindset are constantly trying to describe bigger and more tangible contexts in order to reduce everyone else's behavior into producing their desired outcomes. It becomes obvious how easily contextual disagreements can develop and escalate once you take a moment to consider what would occur if two contexts, both equal in tangibility, were to oppose each other's desired outcome. Here's a basic example. Two individuals wish to create different outcomes for themselves, but their goals obstruct each other's desire in some way. If they cannot agree to a coalescence of their desired outcomes, then they go their separate ways. However, they now attempt to create and spread a tangible context in which the opposing party's effort must be obstructed. This can be accomplished a number of ways, such as spreading rumors, falsifying a perception of a person in order to stall their efforts with misunderstandings and confusion, searching for and aggrandizing each other's flaws, and the lowest of all tactics, surrounding, isolating, and forcing each other's loved ones and closest friends to prove false claims wrong until they lose track of all the lies being discussed. All of these tactics involve the same principle: steering other people's perception as to cause each other conflict. The goal of a contextual disagreement is to eventually trap your opponent entirely within your desired context without the opportunity for escape. Technically, the disagreement isn't over until one party agrees to rewrite their context in adjustment to the other one's goals. Although it doesn't mean they genuinely agree, the losing party must accept the winning context in order to continue trading and socializing for its continued survival, as, once surrounded by a disagreeing context, an individual is threatened with ostracization and the inability to rely on assistance from others for needs basic to a human. Refusing the winning context will only result in a survivalistic ejection from society. It's agreed that what others think and say of you alters the opportunities available to you from society. So we must acknowledge our efforts to present one another and take responsibility for how we affect each other's ability to succeed and survive with everything we say. How can we proudly speak little of one another to reduce each other's opportunities for success, yet find ourselves embarrassed at the idea of speaking highly of one another to increase each other's opportunities? If it's not considered lying to speak only of each other's chance for failure, then it cannot be considered a lie to only present each other with an image that nurtures a future for success. If we are capable of obstructing each other's success, then surely we are capable of supporting each other's success through the same system in which the conflict is allowed to function. As members of a larger community, we each individually contribute information to it as our eyes, ears, and other sensors contribute information to our brains. To keep metaphors simple, let's just focus on our eyes. Most of us have two eyeballs, both of which take in information from slightly different but specific angles. Both eyeballs relay this information to our brain, which then combines both sources into a cohesive, well-informed image. Without honest and direct communication between both eyes, a person would find themselves struggling to maintain balance. I mean, imagine if your eyeballs were to argue with one another and each individually claimed that the information it had alone was a fact and the other eyeball had it wrong. You'd be practically blind. Well, we each behave as an individual brain or eyeball that communicates with the other brains or eyeballs in order to contribute to the larger collective image shared between society. That being said, if all of our opportunities are affected by how we describe life to one another, then should we not always try to find ways to describe life in a positive direction? Well, that's pretty much all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.